This incident unfolds in Puerto Rico, specifically in the towns of San Sebastian. At the time, my wife and I were your typical inseparable and adventurous couple. We loved exploring the unknown, partying, and indulging in every horror film we could find during October. For the sake of the story, we'll call her Olivia. We had been together for about 10 years at that point. Olivia is an actual witch, not the cliché dark magic type with a pointed hat and sinister laugh, but a witch who practices her craft to bring good fortune to herself and those she loves. She is well versed in natural healing remedies and is a very sweet, nurturing woman, the friendliest witch you could ever meet. Over the years, she taught me about her culture, including the intricacies of witchcraft. She also has an uncanny sensitivity to negative energy. I often joke that she's a medium in training, but that's a tale for another time. Halloween is our favorite holiday, and we consider ourselves true enthusiasts. Every year, we dive into the festivities, attending parties and binge watching all the classics. Last year, however, we opted for a mini getaway, booking an Airbnb for a couple of days near San Sebastian. Since Halloween fell on a Tuesday, there wasn't much to do that night. Olivia and I planned to explore the area together. As night fell, we returned to our Airbnb to shower and get ready for dinner. During the drive, we engaged in trivia and ironically listened to scary channels. We passed a beautiful waterfall known as Cascada Gozalandia. While crossing the bridge, I noticed 3 cars parked nearby, including a blue 1990s Chevy Lumina. I recognized it because my grandfather had driven the same model. We parked near the other cars, and I stepped out to relieve myself while Olivia stretched. Just as I finished, I noticed a group of 5 figures near the waterfall. They were holding hands around what appeared to be a bonfire, their voices blending into a haunting melody of humming. 3 women, seemingly in their 30s, stood with an older man, perhaps in his 40s, and a young boy who looked no older than 18. Olivia's expression shifted. Her face turned pale, and I could tell she was frightened. The air grew thick and oppressive, almost vibrating with tension, as if it sensed us. One of the women locked eyes with me, her expression twisting into something sinister, and the others soon followed suit, their gazes burning into us. It felt as if the world had suddenly gone silent. The leader raised his arm, beckoning us to come over. Suddenly, Olivia slapped me, her voice slicing through the air. "Get in the damn car. We are leaving." I snapped out of my trance and rushed back to the car. Before we drove off, I risked one last glance. They all wore expressions of pure, unadulterated rage. Then we heard a disturbing shriek as we sped away, something sounding very angry behind us. On the drive back to the Airbnb, we pieced together what had just happened, both agreeing that we may have stumbled upon a black magic ritual. After settling in, we decided to grab a bite to eat. After dinner, we returned to the plaza, attempting to shake off the dreadful feeling from earlier. However, it wasn't long before we spotted the same blue lumina circling the plaza like a shark stalking its prey. A wave of fear washed over me. They had followed us here. As the car continued circling us, both Olivia and I grew increasingly uneasy. Frustrated, I decided to approach it, feeling emboldened by the crowd of locals present. But just as I was about to reach the car, it sped off. We headed back to the Airbnb, where the parking space was across the street. As we arrived, I parked the car, but just as I was about to cross the street, Olivia pulled me back. The blue lumina came rushing past, barely missing me. My heart pounded in my chest. If it hadn't been for Olivia, I would have been seriously injured. After shouting some curse words, we climbed back into my car. Olivia burned sage to ward off the lingering negative presence. Once that was done, we finally returned to the Airbnb safely and ended up watching Mr. Bean on Zombie Island. Fortunately, nothing else happened that night, but I couldn't sleep, lying awake and expecting the worst. The next morning, on our way home, we drove past the waterfall again. Curiosity gnawed at me, so I stopped the car to investigate the area. I stumbled upon the remnants of their ritual. and dread overcame me. It was a sight that sent chills down my spine. A dead chicken lay next to the fire, and further away was the lifeless body of a black cat. Near a creek there was another dead chicken. After seeing this, we immediately left and never returned. On the way back home, Olivia explained the dangers of adopting cats in October, especially black ones, as many are taken for ritualistic sacrifice. Looking back, that group of people was likely trying to summon a powerful presence, and we may have interrupted them, which is why they pursued us. To all of you listening, if you encounter a group of people in the woods or a remote area, it's best to steer clear. Most of the time, they'll probably leave you alone, but there's always a chance they'll try to drag you into a living nightmare. I appreciate everyone for listening to my story. I wish all of you a very happy and safe Halloween.